Was repeatedly infringed. Ratwata benefiting from Korean blindside flanker going off his feet. And of course Korea once again getting into that red zone and using their superior physicality to score their second try. Conversion was successful, and then on the stroke of half-time, Murshid Zubair and Pasindu Bandara linking up brilliantly to give Sri Lanka the lead, with Ratwata putting the conversion over for what has been a brilliant first half by the Tuskers.
The Tuskers will take a lot of heart, but they need to make sure, and they need to remember that this is a 80-minute game. This 40 is going to be absolutely crucial, because the Tuskers are going to play against the wind, and Korea, like we've seen, are very, very happy to put the ball up. A change has been made with Namuk Kim coming onto the field for South Korea.
Yes, the wind has definitely picked up here at the race course as well. So both teams will need to be aware of that.
Wait for the whistle, please.
Especially when it comes to the respective kicking games.
Are we good to go? Wait.
So 3 of the 4 officials from the United Arab Emirates, who will be Sri Lanka's next opposition. They will be looking to take control of this next 40 minutes as well. Can Sri Lanka hold on to this wafer-thin lead that they went into half-time with? Maybe a little fortunate to go into half-time as well with that little lead.
So we're busy dealing with the signboard at the same time, okay? Hey? We're dealing with the signboard at the same time.
Tharindra Ratwata having a little chat to the referee as they came out, Abdullah, complaining about some of the tactics that South Korea are allegedly using in the breakdowns. Doesn't want the South Korean team to smash into them without any real intent. Just blocking the ball, he says, and referee Clement will be on the lookout for it. And second half underway in Colombo of match day 1 of this round 3 game of the men's qualification process for Rugby World Cup 2027. Beautiful charge down that time. Can they get the ball in? Lahiru Tilakaratne scores. Brilliant reaction from Lahiru Tilakaratne. And what a way to start the second half for the Sri Lankans. The flanker, who had a head knock a little while earlier on, couldn't believe his luck and weighted his grubber beautifully before touching this one down. Of course, the TMO will want to check this one, but let's see whether there was anything wrong with that try.
Well, absolutely no problem from what we saw. The Korean player who was retreating there was Hong Yung-yang, says he got it first, but that was all Lahiru Tilakaratne. Absolutely no problem. 5 points on the board for Sri Lanka, just what the doctor ordered, and Ratwata makes it 7. 24-14, 10-point lead, and the Tuskers are flying high here at the racecourse.
Well, they've gone back and checked to see where Lahiru Tilakaratne started from, and he started behind the line, is what the TMO has just been told. So the try is good, and Lahiru Tilakaratne gets Sri Lanka off to a brilliant start. And this is where it's so important that Sri Lanka exit from this kickoff. It's a crucial moment in the game as Kim Min puts this one deep into Murshid Zubair's hands. Lasindu Vishan. This is where Sri Lanka don't want to muck around in their half. They've done some really good exits so far. And this time they give it to Ratwata. Taken that time by Jeong. Gowda, we haven't really seen too much over the ball as Hyo gives it, and there's some numbers available for South Korea. looked like it might have been spilt. And again, South Korea just unable to make those numbers count, and the fatigue you can see from the body language is setting in, Sudarshana.
It surely is setting in for South Korea, and the frustration. They would have wanted to boss this one. They would have wanted to boss this game, but Sri Lanka now really cranking it up here at the racecourse.
Another thing Sri Lanka have done really well throughout this game is they're really scrapped in defense as well. Whenever there's seemed to be an overlap out wide, they've definitely got the numbers across. So, offensive scrum for Sri Lanka. No doubt they look to try and get a quick hit.
Nicely done by Lasindu Ishan. Nice channel one ball. Akash Madhushankar straight through. And now it's quick ball for Heshan Jansen. Over the top to Dinal Ekanayaka, and he breaks free. Bumps off another tackle, Ekanayaka.
Advantage, lost forward.
Zubair was there to do the clean-up job, and now there's a little bit space for Akash Madhushan once again. Stepping back into the field of play. Had only forwards around him and didn't trust them. Tarinder Ratwata now to Gowda. Gowda, lovely ball from Gowda off the floor. Lovely floated ball to Heshan Jansen. Jansen is under the post. Sri Lankan crowd goes wild. Heshan Jansen, left to right and swinging the pendulum back right to left. Even Dushant Leke, one of the most taciturn men you'll ever meet, can't help but break out in a smile.
Absolutely, and this is what we were calling for just before halftime, wasn't it? Get into those one-on-one situations. The Sri Lankans with their nifty footwork. No match for this Korean defense. So we have a look at that once again. Brilliantly weighted pass by the skipper. Gowda making that initial break. Just the presence of mind to find his skipper again. Ratwata finding his partner in crime, Jehan Jansen, to put the finishing touches. Brilliant start by Sri Lanka in this second half.
Well, the two brother-in-laws making sure that they score soon after the break. Jansen and Tilakaratna. The Jansen household will be a happy one, but Tarinder Ratwata, you will put your money, you would put your house on the fact that he'll convert that. Misses that one out, 29 points to 14.
Number 3.
Lovely offload from Gowda. And here's Ratwata, sees Jansen. Nicely weighted pass. And the moment he got across, Jansen knew that he's touching down.
Spectacular dive. Lahira Tilakaratna, of course, married to Sri Lanka's junior athlete Shalinda Jansen, sister of Heshan. So, fortunately for Heshan, he's not even the fastest player in his family, but he was fast enough to get over there. Allowing the ball to bounce and passing to Bandara now with a little bit of confidence. His try wasn't chalked off, so he will go down on the score sheet. And Sri Lanka now probably under instructions from coach Rodney Gibbs to run from wherever you can. Put the Koreans under pressure. This man has been good so far, Jang Hyangju. Nice flat pass. Cutting back infield, and that's a lovely offload. Brilliantly done that time by Jeong Yong-suk. And the replacement, Kim Namuk, will be the man to touch down. To Sri Lanka cannot afford to relax despite going into the lead.
Well, yet again, that was a clear course of losing concentration after scoring. Teams are really vulnerable when after they score. Pasidu Bandara did have that space to attack from, but Sri Lanka did not really have a plan after that to run. Should have exited. But this is an opportunity for South Korea to really claw their way back into this game. Getting 5 points on the board right underneath the post. 19 to 29 with the conversion to come, which should be a regulation kick for Young. No problem there. So 21-29. This game suddenly in this second 40 has become a high-scoring affair.
Jang Hyung-ju, and how much will that conversion miss by Tarendra Ratpat a few seconds ago? Will that come back to haunt Sri Lanka? Lovely step in by Jeong Hyung-soo and gave a beautiful right-handed offload to his fullback. Nice run by Park Jung-yong. Here's the strike scorer. Kim.
Not on the ball.
Ball is available, says the referee, and it's slow ball for Hill. Dina Lekanayaka does well, can't find
Off the foot.
Mauritius Zubair. It's off the foot, and there's another replacement, Kang Sung-hyuk.
50-22.
And that's a brilliant kick. It's an absolutely fantastic kick. Dina Lekanayaka and Murshid Zubair just unable to combine there, and the 50-22 is good from the South Koreans.
This is what experienced team do.
Substitution.
Under adversity, they will want to make sure that they get back on to their basics as Sri Lanka
Green 1, green
make a
3
couple
off.
of changes, getting fresh legs on the park. Brilliant work by the halfback Yong Hyo. 50-22, getting his team onto the opposite side. The two props being changed. In comes Vimukti Gamage and
Back on.
Dilshan Jaya for Sri Lanka.
Kim Namuk, they're giving him plenty of ball since he's come off the bench in this second half. Here's the other replacement, Jang Sekwan. Here's Kang Sung-hyuk Khan. Here's Kim Namuk. Stepping back in field is Park. This is a sustained period of pressure from South Korea, but as I say that, Sri Lanka are lucky that Kang Sung-hyuk knocked that ball on.
Since that Sri Lanka have just lost a little bit of concentration, isn't it, after those two try blitz? Just need to regather their thoughts. Still a good half an hour to go.
Green number. Green number.
This is going to be a very crucial scrum. Remember, two
Green number
brand
6.
new prop forwards for Sri Lanka as Tilakaratne's time has been called.
They brought Dahan Wickremarachi on in place of Lahiru Tilakaratne. And I thought he might go to the number 8 position, but Lasindu Ishan has stayed there. Be interesting to see whether that switch will be made as the game goes on.
Crouch!
But 29-21, still a 2-score lead for Sri Lanka, but 31-21 would have looked really nice.
Stand up. You make sure we keep it
Lahiru Tilakaratne
on your ball and on
be very happy with his contribution.
this barn. Okay?
Made
Space,
some
space.
telling tackles and scored the try, the first try for Sri Lanka in this first half. And this man has been dangerous since he's come on. Kim Namuk.
Crouch! Bad!
Looked like it was an early shove.
Sit.
So he's a new man
You boys. Sit.
in place of Lee Hyun-soo,
Push when
and that's Kang Sung-hyuk.
Please watch yourself. Wait for the ball. Crouch!
So the new front rowers on both sides causing a few problems for the refereeing team.
Set!
That's a better set, and nicely done by Lasindu. Lasindu fights his way to the floor, but it was a good tackle by Ho.
White.
And Ratwatta, thinking that discretion is the better part of valor, puts this deep. And this is a danger man, sparking a counter-attack.
No hands!
Zhang in the number 15 jersey. It's a beautiful spot tackle, but not before he shovels the ball on. Here's Na. Lovely no-look pass from the skipper. Here's the man who set up the last try. He's trying to do it again, gets the pass away, and it's an identical combination. Super run by Jean. And that's reached over, and try scored that time by Zhang Sekwan. And again, Sri Lanka cut wide open on this right-hand touchline. And the defensive lateral movement is nowhere to be seen in the second half.
Yes, and again, it just led from the fact that Sri Lanka couldn't find touch, isn't it? Korea very strong on the counter-attack, as we can see. And just come storming back into this game. Also, you sense that those fresh legs that have come off the bench for the Koreans have also had an impact. Have a look at that once again. This placement front row forward, Jang, who put the finishing touches to that move, and Koreans have definitely made a strong comeback in this last 13 minutes or so.
Young Chekon touching down for Korea, but Kim Namuk, who has come on to the field in that number 22 jumper, has made a big impact in this second 40 for Korea. Well, had the distance, but the win taking it away from the Poor, so the score will remain at 29 points to 26. Again, we come back to that lost conversion from Ratwatte. It would have been a 5-point lead, but nevertheless, Sri Lanka 3 points in front.
Which number's coming off?
Ratwatte tried stealing that ball with their hands on the ground to secure it for Korea.
So substitution being made. Murshid Zubair, who scored the first try for Sri Lanka, will be coming off, and he'll be replaced by Tenukanane Akara, no doubt.
Number 15 off.
Be interesting to see who moves to fullback. It's like Gowda will move to fullback, and Murshid Zubair will go to the bench. His afternoon done. Kim Kimin. This man has been dangerous as well. Number 7, Park Ju-yong. Lovely little grubber kick that time, and Tarinder Ratwatta has to sweep. And again, Korea diving into that ruck through Park Jung-yu, which is what the Sri Lankan skipper has been complaining about. Kim Namuk with a lovely tackle there, but Akash able to get the ball away.
Time off. We have a flag, foul play against Green. Time off.
So
Time. Foul play.
I believe that's a call from the TMO regarding some foul play.
Open up. Open up.
So we're going to go back
Open.
a couple of rucks.
Yaku, I'm in your hands.
Do you have anything else that shows the halfway line on the last breakdown?
Captain. Number 18. Your side, yes. It's a flag against you. Off the ball. Alright. Off the ball, making contact. Alright, we need to leave each other alone. It's a penalty against Green. AO score, thank you.
If you can go back and have a look at that.
Check, this one is against you. So you have a chance.
And Tarinder Ratwatta very
Captain, are you
insistent about that conversation
What's
with referee JP Clement, that they're
What's
slowing
off?
the game down. Let's watch this one here. Number 18, Dilshan Jaya is the guilty party as Ratpatha picks up. It was a good tackle by Chang Yongju.
Green, number 4, substitution. Number 4, substitution, green.
Now Emirates will fall to the bench. Setting it up, the Koreans.
Taken by the try scorer that time, Oki. No.
It's open. Going forward as maul. It wasn't a maul, it was a tackle. It was open play. It was a tackle and the ball's not available. So scrum, what? Okay.
Interesting call there. The maul is over there. And because it was a tackle, the referee is saying that it was unplayable. Don't see those calls too often in modern rugby. Something that was very much existent back in the day, but very rarely that you see this one now as Pulasi Dasanayaka goes off to make way for Venura Kodagoda. So Sri Lanka's finishers coming on, and Korea's finishers have made a huge impact since coming on, Abdullah.
Yes, they most definitely have. Just got themselves in the correct positions.
Crouch!
Now another big test for the Sri Lankan 8 here.
Space. Space.
Something you need to keep an eye out on for Sri Lanka is the fact that whether they are getting the maximum support that they need to get in these scrums from their third rovers. If you see where Chandu Saswanga is binding, and also where the number 7 for Korea, Park Jung-young, is binding, he's giving all the support, whereas Sri Lanka forwards are isolated, the front 5.
Kim Namuk, again the ball carrier, try scorer and danger man in the second half. Lovely little shovel on from Jung, the try scorer as well. Oki, no, passing the ball back, and that time Sri Lanka using goalkeeper's feet to keep the ball out, but again a scrum penalty coming back to haunt Sri Lanka.
Number 1.
Yes, it's an area of the game that Sri Lanka have struggled. And interestingly, the Koreans this time deciding to go to touch.
Ratpatha managing to get his feet in there without getting nutmegged. And Okino takes this ball at the front. Sri Lanka really under the cosh here. Korea not able to get this ball away, and this time the hand comes up, as far as the home crowd is concerned, in the right direction.
That will give a lot of confidence to the Sri Lankan forwards who've been under the palm, especially come scrum time. But there was a mold that was set, and Sri Lanka doing very well not to infringe. They were behind the line, and they made sure that they kept their pressure on the line of attack of Korea and managing to bring it down legally and put pressure on the ball. Now it's important for Ratpatha to try and exit. Tenuknana Kara is also an option who has gone into the pocket. So 2 options available for Jansen. Karnathalika might try to pick this up quickly and create that angle.
Sit!
Almost certainly we'll see Lasinda Vishan off the back. Here's Ratpatha, has to carry, so he won't be the clearing player. Tenukanane Akara with a little chip over the top. I don't know how good a tactic that was, as they've got That pass was miles forward. Not picked up by TMO Dumini this time though. And this is one more Jeong Hyung-se who goes back. And this one, will it be called back or not? That's something that we need to see. So watch that pass. That pass is fine. And that pass, also the offload from Kim Namuk, is a brilliant one.
Yes, well, regardless, Shanaka, I think this is the third try Sri Lanka have conceded by not clearing their lines, and it's an area in this latter part of this second half that has let them down. Just losing a little bit of concentration. Nanayakkara making a half break and then just deciding to put a small grubber. Quite sure that was the correct choice. The Koreans, they've been lethal in the counter attack. And with that try, they've taken a slender 2-point lead with an opportunity to extend it to 4. Conversion not successful, so it'll remain 31 points to 29. Still a quarter to go, still time in this game. But Sri Lanka just need to tighten up those loose ends if they have to continue to make a game of it, because in the last 10 minutes or so, the momentum has definitely swung towards the Koreans.
It certainly has, Abdullah, and that's where that physical dominance of the first half is going to come back to haunt Sri Lanka.
Water break. What's up?
Be interesting to see the pass just before when Tenuka Nanayakkara's chip kick was picked up by Jung, and he sparked that counter attack. Not sure if he can go that far back, of course, and it's all water under the bridge now, but it will still be interesting to see.
I think this water break would have come at the right time for Sri Lanka. In some of the other games, you do have tactical breaks. This could be called a tactical break for Sri Lanka. Try and get those big breaths in, refocus and concentrate on what they want to do here. They want to make sure that they get back to the basics, how they played the majority of the first 40. They need to try and go back to that. Put pressure on these Koreans. They are letting them stay a little too long in their own 50. South Korea, on the other hand, have really showcased why they are a really good team, why they are ranked so high in Asia. Predictions are that are in favor of South Korea to finish either second or third in this competition. It's up to the Sri Lankans to try and upset that and change that.
Well, they've taken a few steps in the right direction, the Sri Lankans. Can they continue to do so? Hwang felled by Dinal Ekanayake in a brave tackle. Hyo waits, and it's slow ball once again. And here's the man who has really disrupted since he's coming on, Jang Saekwon.
Use it! Use!
Looking for the box kick is Hyo. And that one goes straight into touch, so you can see that the wind is troubling the team that is playing with it more than the team playing against it, actually.
Yes, it's a difficult one to judge the way the wind goes. This one is going to be a crucial line out for Sri Lanka. Remember, 2 brand new front rows, 2 new hooker in the mix as well. When Rakoda Agoda will have to hit his mark, we'll need to make sure. Going through the hands of Tilna Bandara, who's normally extremely safe.
Uncharacteristic mistake by Tilna Bandara, who is usually so good. And this is the first time that Adam Gowda has had a chance to really stretch his legs. Lovely offload from the floor again from the Brisbane-based Sri Lankan. Lovely hands from Tenuka Nanayakkara. Passing to Bandara, steps but straight into Chang Yong-heng. Venurakoda got a smash back in the tackle by
No, stop.
big Korean forwards, and that's what Inbum Hwang
On the ball.
did that Tarinder Ratwata has been talking about. Just going in a little bit late and with nothing more than shoulders into the breakdown once the ball has been won or lost. Akash does well to time his tackle.
Flat. Play on.
Wrong ball and has been juggled.
50,
And Jeong, who has been a revelation in this second half,
22.
puts this one in. Oh, he's should buy a lottery ticket today, Jeong Yongju, because that was a brilliant 50-22. He knows he's got a slice of luck, and so does his teammate Kim Namuk there.
50-22, Yaku. No.
Officials checking whether that was carried back by the Koreans themselves.
Yeah. Tony, I just want to check if the ball was carried back.
Referee JP Clement asking Tony Dumini to
Wait,
just check
wait,
whether the ball
wait.
was carried back by Korea, because
I'm checking, wait. Yes, Tony. Okay. Fifteen 22. Wait for me. Wait for me.
was referee Dumini confirming that there was a breakdown in the half before Jeong made that kick. So it will remain white ball. Peeling off the back that time, but it's untidy. Standing strong in the tackle was Park. And now both sides available. Lovely hands, and Kim in. Just going in here. Brilliant tackle that time by Shanal Adhikaram, who's made his debut for Sri Lanka, the young royalist. Kim Namuk, and he has been so dangerous since he's come on. Running like a trailer. Kang Sung-hyun.
Leave it green. Green.
Here's Hwang to his front row partner, Chue. Chue Ho-young.
Let it come.
Zhang.
Come on, boys. No. Advantage.
No
Around
arms
the tackle.
in the tackle is the call from referee Clement, and that ball is a nice one over the top.
Penalty advantage.
Here's Zhang.
I'll play the advantage.
Still playing advantage for South Korea, referee Clement. Stepping in field. Here's Chang.
You want the advantage? Nothing's happening from there. Grass cutter tackle.
No tackle.
Tackling.
No.
Straight to ground.
It's a grass cutter tackle is the terminology used by referee Clement.
Tackler, don't dive to the ground.
So tackler going straight to ground, and even though he did use his arms, it was not a safe tackle. And Sri Lanka conceding a penalty, and South Korea rather, will probably go for the scrum.
South Korea straight away signaling for the scrum. This has been an area that they've absolutely dominated the opposition. Sri Lanka will be put on notice because Korea does have options on either side of the field as well. Steady scrum, looking to shove this one forward. Advantage straight away opted to South Korea.
Kim Namuk puts it in, but it's a little bit too long, the grubber. But they'll come back for the penalty in the scrum. So if you have to look at one area in the game where Sri Lanka have been second best and convincingly so,
1, 2 and
it'll have to be the front five, Abdullah, and that's what has led to this slim but still deserved lead for Korea.
Yes, most definitely. And this is what international rugby is about, isn't it, Chanka? Probably not exposed to this kind of pressure in the domestic game. Quality which the Korean, not just the starting tight five, but even what they brought on the bench, just the inability to cope with that is been very evident. As you can see, Sri Lanka bringing the changes, brought in Mohammad Rifan.
Well, Sri Lanka's 6-2 split was always going to be a bit of a gamble. You can see why they used it, because this Korean pack has far outweighed them. But that means that they have to put Rifan in at number 15. Gowda going off, had to cover a lot of ground. Big Adam Gowda.
Good on your advantage.
Sri Lanka's front row have detached, so the referee will probably think of a penalty try here. Yes, it is. And it's another 7-pointer.
Ball's not out. Penalty try.
Penalty try is the call, and that was the only one that could have been given, with Korea marching forward at a rate of knots. And there's no option but for JP Clements to send Heshan Jansen to the bench as well.
Yes, well, things are falling apart here for the Sri Lankans, and you could attribute it to the wonderful work of the tight five of the Koreans. Been brilliant throughout the game, especially at scrum time. And just those players off the bench who have come in have also added to the Sri Lankan woes. So Nanyakara restarts proceedings. Comfortably collected, and the Koreans will just put it into touch. And just like that, score has moved on. Koreans now relatively comfortably ahead, 38 points to 29. Sri Lanka down a player as well.
Shwe Sengyok is on the park in the number 20 jersey, as Heshan Jansen looks along, frustrated from the sin bin. Tinina Bandara, Rifan, Venurak, and that time it's Ratwatta. Nanyakara with a lovely ball to Pasindu Bandara. Pasindu Bandara gives it straight back to Kim Kimin. Needed to step inside and stay inside, but that ball has been thumped straight into touch. So Sri Lanka will get a second bite of the cherry.
Let's go, come.
Pasindu Bandara needed some tending to, but South Korea now looking to try and manage this game. They're 9 points in front of Sri Lanka. Got to credit the wonderful work done by the Papare in producing this coverage for everybody around the world. Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, bringing you all these pictures of international test rugby from the racecourse grounds. Advantage in favour of Sri Lanka. This will be a moral victory for the forwards.
So the Koreans will now know that they can afford to just slow this game down.
Number 6 entry at the maul, and over here offside. But
and make sure they don't give
offside.
Any kind of territorial gain to Sri Lanka. Still 9 minutes to go. Anything could happen. But given the way that the Korean bench have been functioning, you have to put your money on the fact that they'll be able to see this one out.
Straight.
Sri Lanka still with an opportunity to try and make this a 3-point game if they can hold on to possession. And we've seen one-on-one, the backs have managed to break the gain line Benrako Daguda going to ground, ball jutting out.
Well, they've done well to try and retain this one, but they will concede the ball to the Koreans, who will no doubt take as much time as they can with this line out. But once again, even in the driving maul, Abdullah, they're trying to play the Koreans where they are the strongest at.
Yeah, that's right. Here, probably a little bit of lack of communication. Ekanaika was expected to be out wide by Tarinder Ratwata, but it wasn't the case.
Advantage lost forward by what?
Sri Lanka managed to turn the ball over.
Happy. Lost forward.
Knock on. So an opportunity here for Sri Lanka.
Well, this is a crucial scrum in this game. If the Koreans manage to win another penalty, I think that would be curtains for Sri Lanka.
Let's work.
But this time, Sri Lanka need to make it count. There's a big short side.
Let's reset, boys. Come on. Let's wait. No, come. Wait for the ball. Let's go.
Sri Lanka still stands there. Half-back, but Rifan, who came in as a full-back, will have to step in. He's normally a half-back. That's his pet position.
No, up. That's not good enough, boys. That's not good enough. I have you early and I have you early.
Sri Lanka playing with 14. Dilshan Jaya on the near side, really struggling under the weight of Kang Sung Hyuk, the tight head for Korea, the replacement tight head. Can see Jaya when he sets up, he's on his heels. And this is an area that Sri Lanka need to go back to the drawing board on in their club rugby as well, to make sure that they don't concede, but taken quickly by Lasindo Ishan from the back of the scrum. And Tirina Bandara now carrying towards the 5-meter line. The crowd now wakes up. Here's Tarindu Chaturanga. Gladiatorial Tarindu Chaturanga.
Be careful.
Vikum.
Advantage offside.
Lasindo Ishan stands strong, gets on his feet, can get the ball away to Dinale Ekanaika. Ekanaika, can he score? Yes, he can. Dinale Ekanaika gets in. And Sri Lanka don't need the two advantages that they had coming, but can they get the conversion over?
Tarinder Ratwate will put his kicking boots on here. Dinale Ekanaika, you can't keep that man away from the whitewash. 34 points to 38. 4 points separating the two sides. Lost in the corner. What an effort. Gets away from 4 tackles. Dinale Ekanaika going against his opposite number. Knew exactly where the line was. Touches down for an important score for the Tuskers. 4 minutes to go on our clock. Ratwate with a very, very important conversion coming up. Can he make the difference? Merely 2 points as the skies open up.
So
little overcooked. So the score will remain 34 points to 38.
So one score in it. Sri Lanka have given themselves an opportunity in this final 3.5 minutes or so.
But you have to ask yourselves, those 2 conversions, and Sri Lanka are going home with a draw, staying home with a draw, I should say. But he's had a lot of work to do, Tarinder Ratwata. And the wind has just died down after being a steady gust for the last 75 minutes or so, which also would have impacted that kick.
3 minutes left.
Sri Lanka, do they have one last lap left in the tank against this tiring Korean team? Taking plenty of time, allowing plenty of recovery to happen. for both teams.
Everyone behind, yeah? Happy? Time back.
Some big gulps of air in the last few seconds from both teams. Sri Lanka, will they have to run this one, or will they settle it down and hope for another opportunity? Well, Ratwatta takes it into contact, and that's the penalty. That's where the game is lost, and you have to say that Sri Lanka have failed to exit 3 times and conceded 3 tries, and with it, perhaps the game.
Captain, please choose. Scrum
Tar
chosen.
Ratwatta is running straight up,
Come a little this way.
had his backs to try and shift the ball from where he collected it. Like you mentioned,
Before.
Sri Lanka
Early push.
not managing to exit 3 times, and
early
they've paid
push.
with points.
Wait.
Korea will be looking to kill this game off from here.
Yes, before.
Just under 2 minutes on our clock. And this is going to be a crucial scrum
Crouch!
for the Tuskers if they are going to have a time,
Guard!
have any opportunity. South Korea will be looking to seal this game off.
It's a really strong drive from Korea. Once again, they'll be hoping for another penalty try. Yep,
Penalty advantage.
and the advantage is
Penalty
coming.
advantage. All offside as well.
Still flying into the tackles. Shenal Adhikaram with a really aggressive hit there.
Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
South Korea won't mind this. They will just hold on to the ball. And in this rain,
Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up.
they will just go to ground and make sure that they don't cough the ball up. Referee still playing advantage, despite
the penalty.
Korea going
You
back.
have a penalty. Use it. Use. Good enough. Let's go back over here.
It's going back for the penalty. And the Koreans will probably opt for another scrum to see this game and put it to bed.
Scrum call. Time
Yes,
off.
that's exactly what they're doing.
Time off. Front row, please come here.
Kim
Come.
Jeep is the man who signals the scrum. And this has been a long afternoon for the front 5.
Yes, they've definitely learnt a lot probably from this experience. Understand what scrummaging at international level is all about.
Anchor and everyone swing around. Okay? If you're going back, go together.
So the referee just trying to explain to them what they are doing wrong.
Not this way, this way. Can I get a time check there?
I
Time,
think it's
30
just
seconds.
the brute power and
30
force of the Korean tight 5 that's actually made the mistake, that made the
Scrum, you can't
difference.
change your mind.
I don't think none of these boys would have experienced this kind of scrummaging in their careers. Real eye-opener for them. And the more exposed they are to this kind of competition, the better they'll get.
Crouch!
What Sri Lanka can try and do is to try and go lower than the Koreans, because these are some tall lads in that front 5 to try and negate that drive that's coming in, which is what they're doing at the moment. But now Korea managing to really
Use it.
use it is the call from the referee, again playing advantage in favor of Korea.
Have a penalty.
Going off the back was Chue. And here's the big man who's created so many problems since coming on, Jang Sekwan.
We agreed.
Can South Korea finish off with a flourish?
Out.
And that's the game. No, it's not. There's one more penalty left before the game is up.
Can the table please confirm time is up? Table, please confirm time is up. Time is over, yes. So I had penalty.
Well, will South Korea go for the try? Or will they tap and chuck this one out?
Choose, what are you doing?
Yes, that's what they choose to do. They bring an end to the game, which is a little bit of respect also for this defensive effort of Sri Lanka. But finally the pedigree has come to the fore, and despite a 20-minute period where Sri Lanka were in the ascendancy just before halftime and just after halftime, the big South Koreans managed to do the job on this front five. And when you've got a team that's going backwards so fast, there's a very little that even the most talented backs can do without the ball. And Sri Lanka, despite that, have done really well to get 34 points on the board. But the pedigree and the experience of this South Korean team, just a little too much for the young Sri Lankans.
That disappointed faces from the Sri Lankans, but jubilation for Korea, who will have a long hard think, because they wouldn't be too happy that they let 34 points to be scored by the opponents. Gents, we need to really start a discussion about the player of the match, and some of the players from both teams really putting their hands up. But my nomination is going to be Jeong Yong-sik, the number 14 for South Korea, who scored 2 very crucial tries in a moment where Sri Lanka did look like they had the upper hand.
For me though, I think the man who played the whole game, Jang Hyung-ju, the fullback for Korea, was also outstanding. Sudarshan, and I feel he was more influential in the game. Jeong did what he needed to do, but I thought Jeong was probably the better player on the day.
I think with both of us having 2 names, the deciding vote will go into Abdullah, hoping that he doesn't come up with another name.
No, I think it's a pretty close call between the entire back three as well. I think Sri Lanka probably aided the cause by not finding touch when clearing their lines, and the South Korean back three made maximum use of it. But I just think it's the number 15, Jeong, probably, who just initiated those attacks and managed to get behind that first line of defense of the Sri Lankan chasers and create opportunities for his wing. So I'd probably go with the Korean fullback.
It's a democracy here at the Combox. So Yang Hong-ju, in his second cap for Korea, will be our player of the match. Also, we need to try and discuss about the best player of the losing side, of the Sri Lankan side. Some very inspirational performances from them as well. You've got to tip your hat to the entire back row of Sri Lanka. Tarantu Chaturanga, Lasidu Karnatilaka and Lahiru Tirukarapna as well, who are absolutely brilliant. And also from the back line, I thought the skipper Tarindra Ratwatte, despite his 2 missed conversions, was influential in really putting his hand up.
Yes, it would have been a really historic moment if Sri Lanka managed to even draw this game. But fortunately it was not to be. Gowda with a lovely little chip, and Jansen scoring what was Sri Lanka's second try in a row. And that's when everyone thought that Sri Lanka really might do the unthinkable and beat South Korea at home. And from Sri Lanka's point of view, they just couldn't handle the weight, the bulk of these front rowers, who managed to get into positions well because of the scrum penalties that they were winning. And this man coming on at halftime made a huge difference. Number 22, Kim Namuk, really drew in a lot of defenders and managed to offload the ball. But for Sri Lanka, Lasindu Ishan, who's fighting here today, did brilliantly. And Dina Lekanayaka managed to get his try as well. Both wingers scoring for Sri Lanka. But Kim in, deciding that enough was enough, and you could see Sri Lanka's hands on the head, knowing that it was so close, but yet so far.
Yeah, definitely the experience really matters, isn't it? South Korean team, prior to this commencement of this championship, did play with the likes of Kenya as well in preparation to that. But Sri Lanka, only those 2 games against the New Zealand under 85, 34 points to 38, just 4 points difference between the 2 teams. The 2 botched conversions of those 2 tries being the difference between the 2. 5 tries for Sri Lanka, 3 converted with a penalty for the mix, but South Korea touching down 6 times with 4 conversions coming on for them. The player of the match for the game, Jang Honju, the fullback for South Korea, and the best player of the losing side, Lasulu Karnathalake in the number 8 jersey.
So as you can see in that summary, Sri Lanka scoring 5 tries to 6 tries of Korea.
අයිබෝන් 2025 රග්බි ලෝක කුසලාන තරඟාවලිය සඳහා ආසියානු කලාපීය සුදුස්සන් තේරීමේ තරඟාවලියේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම දකුණු කොරියා කණ්ඩායමත් සමග සහභාගී වූ ඉතාමත් උද්වේගකර තීරණාත්මක තරඟයක අවසානයත් සමගනුයි අපි මේ ආකාරයෙන් සජීවීව ඔබත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වන්නේ. ඉතාමත් තියුණු තරඟයක් ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායමෙන් ප්‍රතිවාදී දකුණු කොරියා කණ්ඩායමට එල්ල වුණා. තරඟ ආරම්භයේ සිටම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රීඩකීන් ඉතාමත් උද්වේගකර තරඟයක් ලබා දුන්නා. හි ප්‍රතිඵලයක් ලෙස තමයි තරඟයේ පළමු අර්ධය අවසානයේදී ජයග්‍රාහී මානසිකත්වයෙන් යුතුව තරඟයේ පළමු අර්ධයේ වැඩි ගෞරව හිමි කර ගනිමින් ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම තරඟය අවසන් කළේ. කෙසේ වෙතත් ඔබ දන්නවා දකුණු කොරියා කණ්ඩායම කියන්නේ ආසියානු කලාපීය රග්බි කණ්ඩායම් අතර ඉතාමත් ප්‍රබල කණ්ඩායමක්. අපි ශ්‍රේණිගත කිරීම වෙත